What's going on, everyone? We are back, and today we're talking about a T17 map farming strategy. Not specifically doing T17s, but just the best way to farm the maps because they are worth quite a bit right now. So make sure you get subscribed if you are not already, and if you watch these videos and enjoy them, make sure you leave a like. It helps the video out a ton, but let's get into it. Alright, for the Atlas passive tree, it is pretty much the exact same one that I used in my previous video about the back to basics farming strategy, and again, we're using back to basics here, so you can go and watch that if you want a little bit more in depth, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You're taking all of the quantity nodes you can. Obviously you want as many scarabs as possible, so we pump up the scarabs, get some of the league mechanic stuff to get some better corpses so you can get the coffins and sell those. Again, there's some more on that in the video, but the main thing for this, as we want map sustain, so we take, things like Shaper, shaping the skies, we take the higher chance map tier chance nodes, all of that. We take some more scarab stuff, and namely we do the map modifier increased effect. Now what this is going to do is when you roll a map, if it is rare, forgot to pull a map in here, actually we can just use one of these. Things like monsters have 40% elemental resistances, that's going to get amplified by these, but it also makes it so you have a higher quant and pack density in your maps. So it makes the map harder, but it gives you a better reward. This does the same thing. You get no extra content, so you aren't going to be getting blights or harvest or essence monsters or anything like that. You just want to run the map. It makes it very mindless, very simple. You just go in, kill stuff, kill the boss, and get out, which if you watch this channel, I enjoy that very much so. But just keep in mind that things are going to be a little bit tougher when you do this strategy. Now, you can take a couple points out of some of these if it is becoming really too hard, but you just have to really be able to get back to basics and take some of these to be able to do this. It's not super crazy. You might just have to be a little bit more selective with your maps. You might be scouring and re-alking ones to get some mods that your build can do, and obviously watch out for the ones that could screw you over, like reflect damage. Things that usually your build might be able to do relatively easy, say like a cooldown reduction. If that cooldown reduction gets too high, some of your skills might literally just turn off. Especially if you get closer to 100%, it can brick a lot of builds, including mine. If I get too close to that cooldown breakpoint, it will completely not make me shoot frostbolts anymore with this build, which can be kind of a pain in the ass. So you just kind of have to pay attention to the mods you're getting on your map and make sure you aren't getting anything that bricks the map for your build. Alright, so if we go to POE Ninja and we look at the maps to see which are worth the most, Ziggurat, Abomination, Sanctuary are worth the most. Citadel is dropping in price. I think 55 is a little low. You can probably sell this for closer to 65, 70 if you really wanted to. Definitely if you sell these in bulk, but you can just sell them, for their value on here without having to use any third party like TFT, but that is an option as well. Now what we want to do is when we look at the favored maps, we want two that are connected, that drop or have a bias to drop a high value map. You can see I have Burial Chambers and Val Pyramid linked together. Burial Chambers is right here. Burial Chambers and Val Pyramid are linked. So when you favor them both with the map connected nodes and just in general, you're going to drop a lot of these. You're going to over sustain, and you can actually sell these maps for about 5 chaos a piece, especially the Burial Chambers maps. Burial Chambers also has very good pack density, and it is linear. So when you go down and say, well, why do we run that? Well, Burial Chambers has a drop bias. If we look here on the POE wiki, Burial Chambers, right here, the Sanctuary map, and that is one of the higher ones. It's not the Fortress or Citadel, so that's at 75. And then we look at Val Temple, and that drops the Ziggurat map, which is the highest valued one. So they have a bias to drop those. So those are the two maps that I suggest. What's funny though is when I'm running this strategy, because I actually run these tier 17 maps to make profit, and that is my main strategy as well right now. I farm for them and then I run them myself. I actually need to run something else. I'll probably end up running mostly fields. The reason for that only being Abomination doesn't have the best pack density out of them. I believe that is Sanctuary has the best pack density, but Abomination has a good shard that can drop from the boss, and it is the only one that I can consistently kill the boss for whatever reason. Some people think the boss of this is really hard. For some reason, for my build, I can just burn through it and kind of face tag the boss for this. So depending on your build, the bosses for these are different. So that's why certain maps are more runnable for certain builds. And that's why even though Citadel might be ranked the lowest, generally you could sell them for a good amount because maybe some people are really good at the Citadel boss and they're going to want to farm those instead. But for the sake of this video, I suggest putting a bunch of Veil Pyramid, put a bunch of Burial Chambers, maybe put more Burial Chambers than Veil Pyramid, because you are going to want more Burial Chambers than you are Veil Pyramid maps. It's just what we're kind of forced into. And things like Basiliska and Tower, I'm not a big fan of, and they may not have the bias to drop the exact map we want. For the maps, you want to run them as strong as possible, so make sure you are always chiseling your maps as white. Get the 5%, and then you want to get a solid roll on this. I suggest over 80% quality. The higher the better. If it's 78%, sure, fine, run it. If you get a really crappy roll on something, I don't suggest running it at all. And my second monitor flickered, and I freaked out because I thought I might have just lost its recording. And I think we're good. The Scarabs you want to use for this, you can mess around with a bunch of them. The main one and the cheapest one, I think, with a limit of 2, you can use 2 of these. Increase maps found in your area. You can see I have 2 of these because I'm currently doing this strategy to try and get some more T17s to run. So I run 2 of these, and I run 1 Hunted Traders because that is just an extremely cheap way to get more pack size. The other one you can run is Cartography Scarab of Duplication. Chance for your maps to duplicate. You can have 2 of these. You can take out Hunted Traders, run 2 of these. But they are a little bit more pricey. You can see these look like they are about 4 to 5 chaos for one. If you paid for them in bulk, use 2 of these, that's 10 chaos per map. Probably worth it if you find a duplication 17. It basically pays for, you know, let's see, if there's 5, 10 chaos, you're paying for about 6-7 maps worth of them. So not terrible, or like maybe like 9 or 10 maps worth of them. So you can run that. I don't think it's completely necessary, especially if you're on a lower budget for a little bit. You can just run 2 of these and this one. Now you're going to be finding a lot of Scarabs in your maps because of the Atlas tree, not to mention obviously running these maps very fast. You're going to be seeing a lot of Lantern stuff in here, and you're going to be able to pick out rewards for that. Or Exaltation, yay. But still, you know, you can get Fusings, you can get Chaos. If you're lucky, you can get Divine Orbs and Exalted Orbs and things like that. So you're going to be getting extra currency from this, as well as Scarabs. It isn't just completely dependent on the fact that you're dropping T17 maps, although you are going to be dropping T17 maps. They are rare, but not that rare. I get one every maybe 3 or 4 maps. Sometimes I'll get 2 in the same map. Sometimes I'll get 1 for 3 maps in a row. But they are worth a decent amount of chaos, and you find enough of them that this strategy is very much worth it if you're looking at a divine per hour, even though I do not know what that is. Plus the extra maps that you are getting, you can see right here I have a bunch of Crimson Temple maps. It is about 5 chaos per one. A divine is about 150 chaos. So about 30 of these for 1 divine. I suggest you wait until then to do that. And then you can just put, I want 1 divine for 30 of these maps. And you can put it in just like that. Or if you want, say, 50 chaos for 10 maps, you could just set this to chaos and say, I want 50 chaos per 10 maps. Something like that. So you're going to be able getting a lot of maps and over-sustaining. I have my map tab full. I think it's 74 maps of Crimson Temple because I was running a lot of Crimson Temple the other day, and I am over sustaining the hell out of these. This is just the overflow 2448. This is about 61 maps, it looks like. So you are going to be very much so over sustaining maps, especially if you're using the Scarabs. You're going to be well over sustaining, and you can sell the maps for profit. But that is the overall strategy, guys. Very quick video here. It is not a complicated strategy, which means I love it. Sell the maps, get some extra Scarabs, use the Cartography Scarabs to get some more map drops. Sell the T17s, try one out if you think you can do it. Keep in mind, if you're going to try the T17 map, for the hell of it, you might want to take off a bunch of these extra explicit modifier nodes, or the map is going to be extremely, extremely hard. In my opinion, it is too hard. It is especially too hard if you are gating content like Uber bosses, which are a huge huge, goal for a lot of people during the league. And now they are just not going to be capable unless they buy the shards themselves. And some of the shards, like Maven, for 5 of those, you're looking at about 10 divines per run. So absolutely ridiculous. So I have my reservations about T17 maps. I don't know what they should do. I feel like if they make them easier, they're going to lower the drop rate. And I am having a lot of fun farming these. So I don't know. I don't have the answer. All I know is I'm not a big fan of the state T17s are in. But make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you've been doing this. Let me know if you've been able to do a T17 map with it fully juiced like this, namely with something like Back to Basics, which, like I said, you're going to want to probably take off if you've never run one before, just to see if your build is capable of doing it. And if I had tips for T17, be very picky with the mods, reroll them with Chaos. It can get expensive, but it's better to be able to spend a little bit more and be able to run it than to take a risk and get your ass handed to you, and then you get absolutely nothing. Also, make sure you get subscribed over on twitch.tv/SafeOnTuck, where I stream a good 3 to 4 times a week, especially earlier in the league like this, and hang out with us. There is also a Discord, link is in the description, where we're relatively active and we're talking all the time about certain strategies, changes, if there's like little exploits or extra tips. We all usually give them to each other in there, so you can get a little heads up on the community. So make sure you join over there and get followed. But that's going to do it, guys. Make sure you catch me on the next one, and we will see you next time.